Hi everyone, this is Shannon for Waffle Flower Crafts. Today I'm going to share with you guys a really fun and easy idea to kind of stretch your dies by combining yarn and your die cuts. I'm going to start today's project with these frames dies. This is the Ticket Frames die set. I love this die set, so useful. I'm going to use that second frame from this set and die cut it out of this cardboard. This cardboard is actually left over from shipping from some products that I purchased online. I'm going to use this because it's a little bit thicker than cardstock, but you can use cardstock if you prefer. I would just cut this frame out of cardstock twice and then glue the two frames together so it's a little bit thicker, just to hold up to the wrapping of the yarn. So I'm using lots of yarn today, a rainbow of yarn, and then I'm going to cut it down to just about 12 inches of yarn. That's what I found all I needed to kind of wrap a small section of this frame. I'm going to start with the corner and I'm going to hold the end of it down on the back side of the frame. You want to make sure that the end that you're holding down with your finger is going to be wrapped with your yarn. So make sure you're wrapping your yarn over that end to kind of secure it down. And wrapping the yarn is really easy to do. The corners are a little tricky here, so I am kind of like wrapping a little bit, making sure it's nice and tight, and then I'll take my fingernail and kind of move and spread out the fibers of the yarn a little bit so it really covers that corner. I don't want any of the brown cardboard showing. I want all the beautiful color of the yarns that I'm using only visible. So I'm going to wrap just the small corner here, the small section, and that's about the length of the sections that I'm going to wrap with each color. So once I get to the end here, I'm going to grab my hot glue gun and I'm going to put a little dot of glue right at the base, and then I'm going to grab my yarn end and kind of press it down into that hot glue to secure it down. I haven't trimmed it yet, but just holding it nice and tight so it doesn't unravel at all that wrapping that I did. You can use like scissors or some kind of tool to kind of help you press that in because it is hot glue, so it is hot. You don't want to burn yourself, so please be careful. And then I'll trim that off. And that end that's still remaining, I'll actually wrap that with my next layer or my next color. So that's one small section, and it's very easy to do, really fast. And I'm now going to move on to all my other colors. So my next color in my rainbow here is the lighter pink. So like before, I hold that end and I am wrapping over my light pink end here and that little tail end of my dark pink that I did earlier. So kind of securing both ends here, hiding both ends. It definitely helps the look, even though this is the back side, so nobody's going to see those ends anyways, which is good because they won't see the hot glue that we used either. And once I get my section wrapped to the length that I want, I'll grab my hot glue again, put a little dab of glue, grab that end, put it down. I am using my fingers here. I don't know if I've got like Teflon fingers or my hot glue gun doesn't get that hot, but I found my fingers a little bit easier. But definitely don't use your fingers. Probably use like a tool. I found the Spellbinders tool for your die pick is really helpful because it's a nice metal end. So if you use something with metal, the hot glue is not going to damage it at all. And so I just repeated the process till I got through the whole entire rainbow, and then I just started the rainbow over again. I'm just going to finish up my frame here with this last section of yellow. I was actually only able to do 2 complete rainbows with my yarn. I had to stop right here after this yellow and not move to the greens and the blues, but I think it's okay. Even though I really have like 2.5 complete rainbows, I still think it's pretty balanced with the colors. And here's the finished look. I love the texture that the yarn provides. I think it's so fun and different, and you could use other kinds of fibers like strings or ribbons or twine as well and try that out. I think there's a lot of fun you can have with this idea. So now I'm going to move on creating my sentiment. This is the Bold Sentiments combo set, and I've picked a really gorgeous thank you sentiment, and I'm going to stamp it onto some white cardstock, but I'm going to do some heat embossing. So I did put down some anti-static powder first, and now I'm stamping the sentiment in VersaMark ink, which is an embossing ink, and then I'm going to pour on some beautiful silver embossing powder. Just tap off the excess, and then I will heat set this with my heat gun. This sentiment set comes with matching dies, so I'm going to actually die cut this sentiment out. I did it off camera. It has a really gorgeous clean clean and polished look. And before I put together my card, I took the gorgeous diamond texture die and die cut an A2 panel with it, so it has this beautiful stitched diamond background. I'm going to adhere this diamond textured panel onto an A2 top folding card base made of 110-pound white cardstock. I used liquid glue and just stuck that down, held it just till that glue set a little bit. And now I'm going to adhere my frame. To adhere my frame, I'm going to use my hot glue gun again. Just put some glue a little bit on the corners. You don't need too much to get it to stick. Hold it for a second, and then that's down. For my sentiment, I'm going to stack 2 pieces of foam tape together. You need that extra thickness to go over the yarn wrap frame. The yarn does add a little bulkiness to this card. It's about the thickness of 2 pieces of foam tape, so about like a 1/4 inch thick. And then I just stuck it down in the center of the frame, and that completes the card. I love this kind of clean and simple look, and you really just focus on that beautiful rainbow that we created with the yarn. Just really easy, and I think just really fun and pretty, and something unexpected. Here's a second one that I created. For this one, I created my own frames with the A2 layers die, made some nice thin frames, and then wrapped each one of those frames with 1 color of yarn. So very similar to what I did before, but didn't stop and switch colors, kind of just went through over the whole frame with that. Here's another card that I created. So this one I yarn wrapped the arches of a rainbow, so that's a fun idea. So you can think outside of kind of the frame realm. You could possibly even yarn wrap like kind of like a donut shape, you know, a circle with a smaller circle taken out. I think there's lots of possibilities for this kind of technique, a lot of ideas. You could just do stripes of cardstock as well and make your own rainbow. I think there's lots of fun things you can do with this technique. And it's definitely unique and unexpected, and it's just a good way to stretch your dies. I hope you guys enjoyed today's cards and technique. If you want any more information on the products I use, please visit Waffle Flower, and you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for more creative ideas. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.